in the scope of all of the things we're talking about today, doctors and is this stuff medicine? My story fits right in because a study was done and that talked about the interaction of marijuana terpenes and cannabinoids. It offers hope for novel treatments. This new study says, and this is an article by Ben Adlin at the Marijuana Moments. So a new review of the science around components of marijuana says the complex interaction between phytocannabinoids and biological systems offers hope for novel treatment approaches, laying the groundwork for a new era of innovation in cannabis-based medicine. Among other takeaways, a report published earlier this month in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences underscores the potential of whole plant cannabis medicine, incorporating the variety of cannabinoids, terpenes, and other compounds produced by the cannabis plant, rather than simply THC or CBD on their own. I'm going to do lots of quotes from this report, and here's one of them. The plant cannabis exhibits an effect called the entourage effect, in which the combined actions of terpenes and phytocannabinoids results in effects that exceed the sum of their separate contributions. The study says this synergy emphasizes how important it is to consider the entire plant when utilizing cannabinoids medicinally, as opposed to just concentrating on individual cannabinoids. Much of the 23-page report from pharmacy researchers at Ovidis University in Constanta and University of Medicine Pharmacy Science and Technology of Târgu Mureș, both of which are in Romania, comprises of an overview of cannabinoids, including THC, CBD, as well as CBG, CBC, CBN, and THCV, as well as those compounds appear to interact with the human body. While most of the research has studied THC and CBD, the new review notes that the exploration of novel phytocannabinoids is rapidly evolving, offering exciting prospects for the future therapeutic applications. Beyond well-established compounds like THC and CBD, the quest for novel cannabinoids widens the scope of potential treatments, it says. Each cannabinoid, with its unique chemical structure, interacts differently with the endocannabinoid system, suggesting tailored therapeutic effects for specific conditions. This exploration seeks to harness similar benefits while circumventing associated drawbacks. Each of the chemical components has specific effects, which the study briefly describes. A broad review, which cites nearly 100 other sources, acknowledges that some effects are bolstered by robust scientific evidence, while others are still being explored. THC, for example, has demonstrated analgesic effects, authors wrote. It also possesses an anti-emetic effect, which makes it useful for chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting. CBD, meanwhile, has demonstrated anti-inflammatory properties and is said to have analgesic properties and may be effective in pain management. Some research also shows the cannabinoid may have neuroprotective qualities. While CBD formulations like the prescription drug Epidiolex can treat rare forms of epilepsy, mixes of CBD and THC may help address spasticity relating to multiple sclerosis, the paper says. Both THC and CBD also have antioxidant effects, it adds, and both appear to be promising tools for a variety of ailments, from pain to neurological disorders and psychiatric conditions. Further, CBD may help reduce symptoms of anxiety and PTSD, while both THC and CBD may exhibit antidepressant effects. While some findings suggest that cannabinoids may have mood-stabilizing effects and enhance serotonin signaling, the evidence is inconclusive and further research is needed, the study says. CBD may also reduce cravings and withdrawal symptoms of alcohol and opioid use disorders, the authors said. And the evidence is preliminary and more research is needed to establish its efficacy and safety. Both THC and CBD have also been investigated as possible sleep aids, though results are still preliminary and so far mixed. Some patients experiencing improved sleep, while others experience sleep disruptions. As for treating cancer, the report says that the studies have indicated that cannabinoids can exert anti-tumor effects directly by inhibiting cell proliferation and inducing apoptosis, or indirectly by inhibiting angiogenesis, invasion, and metastasis. In vivo and in vitro research has demonstrated the efficacy of cannabinoids in modulating tumor growth, although the anti-tumor effect can vary depending on the type of cancer and the concentration of the drug, it continues. For cancer patients, it is crucial to comprehend how cannabinoids control immune system interactions and other biological processes related to carcinogenesis, such as cell cycle progression, proliferation, and cell death. Additional research in this area is also necessary. As for minor cannabinoids, compounds such as CBG and CBN appear to have antibacterial effects, researchers found. CBN itself also appears to be a mild sedative, which could be relevant for treating sleep disorders. THCV, meanwhile, may act as an appetite suppressant and a potential treatment for diabetes. Cannabinoids may also be helpful in treating trauma wounds. Authors noted potentially reducing perceived pain, inflammation, and secondary tissue damage. At the site of injury, cannabinoids may decrease the release of tissue activators and sensitizers, modulating nerve cells to control tissue destruction and immune cells to prevent the release of pro-inflammatory substances, they wrote. This modulation helps minimize pain and temper post-injury responses associated with inflammatory injury. The review also assesses the challenges and controversies surrounding research and use of therapeutic cannabinoids, including legal and regulatory obstacles that still vary widely across the globe. Lack of robust standardization of cannabinoid products and the potential for abuse and dependence. THC, researchers acknowledge, is not only the primary psychoactive compound in cannabis, but also the most common cannabinoid associated with problem use. While the overall risk of addiction to THC is lower compared to substances like opioids, amphetamines, or alcohol, the authors wrote, it is still a concern, particularly for individuals who use cannabis frequently or in high doses. Doesn't everybody use it in high doses? On the other hand, CBD is not associated with the same potential for abuse or dependence and may have potential for therapeutic effects in reducing addiction to other substances such as opioids, alcohol, or nicotine. Social and legal obstacles, the study noted, still make research onerous. Despite its potential legal restrictions and societal stigma surrounding cannabis, hinder investment in research and development, authors wrote. Complex regulatory frameworks further complicate exploration efforts. Rigorous preclinical and clinical trials are imperative to establish safety and efficacy before therapeutic implementation. As cannabinoids in the body's own endocannabinoid system continue to be better understood, researchers expect even more potential in managing various pathological diseases. Earlier this year, for example, a study looked at the collaborative interactions between cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids, the other molecules in the plant, concluding that a better understanding of the relationships of chemical components is crucial for unraveling cannabis's complete therapeutic potential. Other research that happened recently by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found that citrusy smelling terpene, also known as limonene, could help ease anxiety and paranoia associated with THC. Researchers similarly said that the finding could help unlock the maximum therapeutic benefit of THC. A separate study found that cannabis products with a more diverse array of natural cannabinoids produce stronger psychoactive experiences in adults, which also lasted longer, a high generated by pure THC. And in 2018, a study found that patients suffering from epilepsy experienced better health outcomes with fewer adverse side effects when they used plant-based CBD extracts compared to purified CBD products. Also last year, and finally, scientists discovered previously identified cannabis compounds called flavorants, which they now believe are responsible for the unique aromas of different varieties of marijuana. And previously, many had thought terpenes were alone were responsible for the various smells. Interesting to add to this is a similar phenomenon is also being recorded now around psychedelic plants and fungi. In March, for example, researchers published findings showing that use of full-spectrum psychedelic mushroom extract had a much more powerful effect than chemically synthesized psilocybin alone. They said the findings imply that mushrooms, like cannabis, demonstrate an entourage effect. Well, I think this is all great news for cannabis exploration and cannabis medicine, and it shows that we've been right all along, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. I'm agreeing with you on that, Todd.
It's great news. I mean, it's great that that's the one thing that deschedule or rescheduling does. It allows for research and development and all of these studies.
So would descheduling.
Oh no, I agree. I'm not rooting for it. I'm just saying that it would do that.
I'm just saying.
You're muted there, Simone.
I'm just saying.
Oh no, I hear you.
Yeah, just
yeah. It takes an enormously progressive, body at a university to want to do something like this. A progressive general counsel for that, body or whatever. If a university, if it's a organization, it's whatever. They take a risk. They have licenses that get audited, and those are a risk. If they lose those licenses, they can't do any of the other work that brings them revenue. So, it's
the whole point is it shouldn't be a risk. There shouldn't be. We should be studying this thing every single day. Look, if this was discovered, today, without the 100 years of bad marketing that is established, it would be a panacea, right? And whoever discovered it would win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's so silly that. Look, if this helps one kid, right? If it helps one person, study that shit and make it help for a lot of people. Yeah. So it's
I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think the thing is that they negate all of the actual research that's been done prior because of maybe the setting, but they were, conducted.
Anecdotal. Yeah.
Well, they're not even anecdotal. I mean, it's doctors that were administering and preparing these applications. There was a guy by the name of William Courtney. Shout out, Dr. William Courtney. Anybody remember that guy? He was treating his wife's rheumatoid arthritis with THCA, which he was juicing fresh,
leaves.
Flower. And leaves and flour and stuff like that, and giving her, small doses of that with other juices because it's very acidic and it was really, tear up your stomach. But those types of things that's old. That's decades old. And so what's now being kind of, said is that, now we can do the research. Well, actually the research has been, being done concurrently. And, there's papers out there. Look at what Raphael Mechoulam, discovered THC, distilled THC, back in 67. So it's, this has been happening for, almost, 100 years, let's say, of research, actual research by scientists. So to say that now there's the opportunity to research just because it has this, this new term that we have now allowed for this plant to be associated with so that we can actually as a society enjoy it is just fucking human nonsense. That's the bottom line. But I hope that it really does open a lot of doors. But as we know, with any government regulated industry like that, the FDA is going to be particularly the governing body that's going to be holding us accountable. This is going to be a complete shit show, and it's going to be just as corrupt. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy, of course. I'm very happy. This is great. All the things that you said in that article were awesome, Todd. There's great information actually in there. But I don't know. I'm kind of jaded, I guess now. I've lost kind of a lot of hope for, a really bright future for a lot of these young, innovative entrepreneurs. Now we're just all going to have to be a part of the machine if we want to survive. So it's tough. It's tough.
We saw this shit coming though, Samad. Right?
100% we did.
What was it like 2-3 years ago? When it was revealed that Pfizer already had a third of the patents in cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we saw it coming from honey.
I can't wait to try that Pfizer OG.
What I'm saying is we're witnessing in real time the colonization, the whitewashing, if you will, of cannabis history.
Hey, I wonder when it goes to Schedule 3, are they going to change the name of Phospholode to Pfizer load?
Wow. It's going to be glyphosate. It's going to be
I don't know, but I've been holding back and I need to blow my load. So let me just say this about that with the wiffle ball bat, which is that
Yeah.
I think there's a theme here that we need to highlight beyond what they're saying about cannabis, which is around whole plant medicine. And if we look at even other pharmacological compounds and drugs, a lot of them have a plant basis, whether it's aspirin or cocaine or Valium. We could go on and on. I'm not a chemist. I don't play one on TV. But this notion of whole plant medicine, and I don't want to get too metaphysical here just because my second cup of coffee is kicking in, but like God and Mother Nature makes less mistakes than humans that tinker with things. And so this concept of whole plant medicine, I hope that emanates out from this conversation around cannabis into a broader scientific community where scientists start to look at plants and the way in which these compounds and interacting nutraceutical outputs are expressed in plants. And so we know that cannabis is incredibly complex. We know that the only way to accelerate our understanding about this plant is to pour massive R&D dollars into research. And the promise of cancer treatments is something that's not new to the conversation. And cancer is a big fucking deal. And so I just think that we need to encourage scientists to think about whole plant medicine more broadly. I wish Saint Germain was on today like he was yesterday so he could riff, ramble, and rant about other plants or fungus, which is technically not a plant or an animal. It's third kingdom of life. Mm-hmm. No, fungus is not a plant or an animal.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's actually an alien species. It's actually no fungus is made from.
There are three categories of life: plant, animal, and fungus.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
then Kubrin.
Fungus is alien, but nonetheless, we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.